Earthlings, and welcome to my space. And on today's video, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently in spite of New Year's. So New Year's is a time of celebration. It's a time to basically say, I've made it another year. Whatever that year had in store for you, it is time to reflect. And most of the time we make New Year's resolutions, whether we stick to them or not, we make them, and it is just a time to celebrate. Now, I wanted to bring attention 3 stories of people that instead of bringing in celebration for New Year's, all they did was bring in tragedy. Joaquin Sanchez decided to ring in the year of 2022 by hosting a small New Year's Eve party at his house while his parents were out of town. The party had about a dozen young people over to celebrate. At some point in the night, guests began throwing trash on the floor, which caused Sanchez to become agitated. He then decided to go into his parents' bedroom, where he grabbed a hunting rifle and brought it into the kitchen. Upon entering, he encountered Joshua Vigil, a West Las Vegas high school classmate and a member of the football team where Sanchez was also a member. According to the affidavit, he pointed the gun at Vigil. It is claimed that Sanchez did this believing the gun was unloaded. It wasn't, and Sanchez fired, and Joshua, who was 17, was pronounced dead at the scene. Sanchez stated that Joshua told him to shoot him. A Facebook page called Justice for Joshua Vigil has posted updates on the Sanchez court proceedings. On the page, there's also links to a gun victim an online memorial, as well as an online fundraiser that goes to pay for a billboard calling for justice for Joshua. The trial is set to take place the week of January 9, 2023. Sanchez is set to go to trial in Guadalupe County, where his trial was moved after District Court Judge Michael Aragon agreed with his defense attorney that holding the trial in San Miguel County would make it difficult to find impartial jurors. The extensive media coverage the case attracted, as well as the billboard honoring Vigil, played a hand in the decision. On December 31st, 2017, less than an hour away from New Year's, Scott Kologi, who was then 16, slaughtered his family. He killed his mother, Linda Kologi, his dad, Stephen Kologi, his sister, Brittany Kologi, and their grandpa's companion, which was later to be known as his step-grandma, essentially, Mary Schultz. A videotaped confession, Kologi told investigators that he had taken his brother's assault rifle, then loaded a total of 30 bullets into 2 magazines. He then proceeded to turn out the lights in his room so his mother wouldn't be able to see him as she came up to look for him minutes before midnight as the family was gathered downstairs to welcome in the new year. When Linda finally entered his room, Scott said he shot her 5 to 7 times in the chest and the torso. When Stephen Kologi heard the noise, he went upstairs to see what was going on. Scott then shot his father in the back. He then proceeded to go downstairs and shoot Mary's skulls 4 times. He continued his massacre by turning his gun on his sister Brittany, shooting her 4 times in the chest and in the head. In a videotaped confession, Scott told detectives about his bizarre hallucinations he would experience as a child. He described the experience of killing his family like he was watching a movie as he was killing his family members. He continued to explain to detectives that he snapped out of his daze and stopped shooting when he saw his grandfather, Adrian Kologi, had fallen to his knees upon witnessing Mary, his longtime partner, being shot. After which, Scott said he decided to spare his grandfather's life and went upstairs to wait for the police to come. Scott was arrested at the scene, and they also found a semi-automatic rifle as well. Originally, he was tried as a juvenile, but later it was taken up to adult court. In the trial would reveal that Linda Kologi did not want her son to tell his therapist that he had thoughts of killing people because she was afraid that he would be hospitalized for it. Scott was sentenced to 150 years in prison. Prosecutors stated that when the juries decided that he was guilty, they were also saying that Scott was fully responsible for his actions that night. He was fully aware and capable of what he was doing. Carol Kologi, Stephen Kologi Sr.'s mother, asked the judge if he could send Scott to a place where he could get help for his mental illness instead of just sending him to jail. Scott was a 16-year-old child who recognized that he needed help because of his damaging thoughts, Carol Kologi said, the paper reports. Scott told his mother that he was having bad thoughts about killing people, including family members. Although he was found guilty, I do believe Scott's mental condition was the impetus behind the night in 2017, she said. I am asking the court for some compassion and understanding in this matter. Scott's lawyer states that Scott is not a cold-blooded killer and that in fact he is severely mentally ill and that he was sent to state prison to be with cold-blooded killers. Scott Kologi must serve at least 85% of his sentence, or 127 and a half years, in prison before he is eligible for parole under New Jersey's No Early Release Act. On New Year's Eve 2017, Yvonne Ramirez, then 19, was facing murder charges for allegedly gunning down her then-boyfriend Joshua McKinney. Yvonne Ramirez and Joshua McKinney had been seeing one another for a short period of time before meeting on New Year's for a date. Investigators believe that Ramirez's real plan was to rob McKinney, and she decided to steal his guns in order to get money from Joshua. Ramirez allegedly demanded $2,000 in the exchange for his stolen guns. Joshua collected the money, and the pair discussed a meeting place and a time in order to make said exchange. A witness claims that Joshua put Ramirez in a neck hold and then held a gun to her head. This is when said witness decided to call the police, and this was moments prior to gunshots being heard. Joshua was found dead in the street while Ramirez was found with a gunshot to her shoulder. She initially told the police that her boyfriend died in an accident when the gun fell on the floor. The police weren't buying her story. Based on the evidence, they just weren't believing that the gun fell and shot Joshua. Later on, after interrogation, she changed her story to the fact that she did shoot Joshua, but she did so in self-defense. Another witness that stated that they saw Ramirez move Joshua's body after his death, and on top of that, steal his wallet after his death as well. Ramirez denied stealing his guns. Ramirez claims that they were getting high when McKinney accused her of stealing his guns. It turned violent when she denied the accusation. This is when Ramirez said she grabbed a gun that he tucked in the waistband of his pants and shot. Police would later find the text messages on Ramirez's phone where she described to someone in detail about how she had stolen guns from McKinney. He recently trained at the Texas Challenge Academy, a residential military academy operated by the Texas National Guard. He was called an outstanding candidate by one of his instructors. Another instructor, Alyssa Solomon, said that he always wanted to be a Marine. He really wanted to serve his country. He was someone everybody wanted to be around. He was a great kid, a great student, and I'm never going to forget him. Ramirez was eventually arrested and charged, but she was not charged with murder. If you look at her arrest records, it looks as if she was charged for escaping arrest. So therefore, she was sentenced to 7 years. If you liked today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I upload weekly. And until next time, be safe. Peace out.